Oh, it is race week. The NASCAR All-Star Race is back at North Wilkesboro Speedway with a little rain in the forecast. On top of that, racing legend Richard Petty is hosting his annual Blue Jeans and Boots fundraiser, and that's where Tanya is tonight. We'll hear from her and the King of Racing in just a few minutes, but we have got to start with the racing. Jalen Gilkey and Logan Campbell are live at the North Wilkesboro Speedway tonight. A lot of fun planned over the coming days. Jalen and Logan.
Yeah, Chad, it's been a rainy few days here at the North Wilkesboro Speedway, and it's caused a few delays to this week's schedule.
Few delays, it's raining right now, but crew has been working around the clock to try and dry the tracks for today's races.
And now we're going to show you some video from earlier in today where we saw the ZMAX Cars Tour drivers out on the track getting some practice laps in. It's been a little hit and miss with the showers, but the hope is to have the Window World 125 ZMAX Cars race tonight at 8:30 and the Reverend 100 ZMAX Cars race right after it around 10 p.m.
And the gates actually open on Sunday, and they're expecting a sold-out crowd of 20,000 people here this weekend. Now, this is my first time here at North Wilkesboro Speedway, and I had no idea what to expect, but there's no short of activities to do leading up to the main event. When I talked to Chief Experience Officer at Speedway Motorsports, Jessica Fickenshire, she told me what I can expect and what fans can expect throughout race week.
We're going to have the ZMAX Cars Tour on Tuesday and Wednesday, the Fan Fest Hauler Parade Thursday, the Mechanics Wear Pit Crew Challenge on Friday, and then the truck race and heat races on Saturday, and then the All-Star race on Sunday. So it'll be pretty much like it was last year, just lots of racing, lots of activities going on. We've got a concert on Friday night with Tim Duggar and Neil McCoy, and then Sunday morning, Warren Zeiter. So it's just action-packed, you know, no downtime. It's just everywhere you turn around, you've got something to do.
Rain or shine, fans have been out here camping all week long. WFMY News 2 Hunter Funk is actually out there with some fans right now. Hunter, is the party still going despite the rain?
Yo, we have been catching up with fans all day. We have some who have been here before, others where it's the first time, even traveling several thousand miles.
I wanted to do the road trip, and I knew that I could get him to go on the road trip if there was races along the way.
Yep.
So that was my ulterior motive.
Yeah.
And the Amsberries are all the way from Oregon. They say they put 5,000 miles on the truck and started their road trip, get this, in February, making stops all across the country from the different big racetracks. Now, it is their first time at North Wilkesboro Speedway, and they say in person is way better than TV.
That's the excitement.
Yeah, that's the big exciting thing about it, is to, you experience these things on TV, and you don't grasp the enormity of it until you're there, and you hear the sound, you smell the fuel, and you see the excitement and the people. So that's a lot of the fun, is just being there to experience that.
From the first timers to the first ones, got their coveted banner showcasing that they were the first on site, and well deserved after an early morning wake-up call.
So I am not a morning person, but we woke up at 4:30 a.m. We live in Greensboro, so about an hour drive. We got here right around 5:30, 6 o'clock. First one's in line. We wanted this spot, so we knew that we had to be first in line just to get this spot, and we wanted this flag really bad.
And the fans are hoping that, the racetrack just stirs up this wind and pushes out the storm. Right now, it's not quite working, but we're hoping it does soon. But it's given those fans times to go and explore town and give, hopefully, that economic boom that we saw last year. We did receive last year's boom from the economic report here, and we're going to read it for you. According to the report, the race brought in $42.4 million in the state. It created 625 jobs, which led to over $20 million in construction and infrastructure investment in Wilkes County, and it generated nearly $29 million in visitor spending. North Wilkesboro Speedway is deeply rooted in the history of NASCAR. It is one of the oldest tracks, hosting a race in NASCAR's first season back in 1948. From 1949 to 1996, the track held 93 Premier Series races. Several NASCAR Hall of Famers have taken the checkered flag during those races, including Richard Petty, Dale Earnhardt, Richard Childress, and Jeff Gordon. Now, Wilkes County was once known as the moonshine capital of the world, and that came to light during a historic discovery earlier this year, right here at the Speedway. Now, crews were doing routine maintenance of the grandstands ahead of this week's race when they found cracks in the concrete. Now, they removed the seats and found 700 square foot small cave. Now, the Speedway officials say they've heard about stories about how an old moonshine still was still operating under the grandstands. While there was no still in the cave, they say the structure inside makes those rumors seem a little bit more true.
We got into the hole and actually started researching and looking. There was things underneath there that you normally wouldn't see underneath just a dirt filled bank that concrete's on. There's some columns, there's a back wall. Those things make those stories start to come into fruition.
Now, it was the race before the race. They did not have long to explore the cave. Crews had to quickly patch up holes and fix the grandstands before this week's race. Now, there's quite a bit of debate about that moonshine cave, but there's also a lot of hidden history about 600 feet away from right here. Now, coming up on Friday at 11, we're gonna dive deeper and uncover that hidden history.
Looking forward to it, Hunter. Thank you. North Wilkesboro will have one big change compared to last year. They repaved the famed 0.6 of a mile oval for the first time since 1981. Workers have been at it since last November to make sure it looks good ahead of this week. Leaders at Speedway Motorsports say it was special to supervise the work at such a historic track.
I mean, of all tracks that we've done, we've built, and all the things we've done, and I mean, we took Las Vegas and turned it into something totally different than what it was. This one still holds a special place, probably at the top of the heap, because the community itself, the people that helped to bring it back together, it was just that piece of everybody took pride in this track, and it wasn't just us as contractors or ownership or promoters. It was the community that really took pride, and just seeing all that and the support that was around it, it's definitely the top of the heap for me as far as putting tracks back together.
The drivers in the Cars Tour were among the first to test out the new racing surface last month. They shared their thoughts afterward.
The track looks great, first off. The pavement looks great. It's smooth. You still have those little bit of bump characteristics. The uphill down the back, the downhill down the front. You can still kind of notice all that. It's still Wilkesboro.
So there's a lot of little nuances about this track. It's not a ice smooth glassy repave, and I kind of like that it's like this still. Makes you have to drive around areas still and drive around those bumps. Typically when they repave tracks, you know, it's just got a bunch of grip, it's fast, and you just run the bottom. This one's very unique still, I think. So I think they, honestly, I like the little areas that they almost like messed up per se, because it still gives the track some characteristic.
And this year by far it has so much more grip, and the fall off isn't going to be much, so it's going to be hard to pass. Qualifying is going to be important, so it'll be different for sure from what it used to be, but I'm looking forward to it.
A lot of people were worried about how the racing product would be with the new asphalt on the racetrack, and I get that. I'm definitely a purist when it comes to old asphalt, but after going and making 30 laps a day, that's all it took to realize that this place has a ton of character.
For the track to thrive, you know, we understand it had to have the pavement, and it's going to only boost the status of this place moving forward and keep it around for a long time to come.
As you know, North Wilkesboro is the Triad's NASCAR track. There's only one Cup Series team actually based in the Triad, Richard Childress Racing down in Welcome. RCR has a winning tradition at North Wilkesboro. Dale Earnhardt took the checkered flag 5 times in Cup Series races. Childress and Austin Dillon told us why the track is so special to them.
You know, North Wilkesboro's got so much history. For us back in the day, it was our home track. And we won a lot there, and had a lot of fun up there. It's just good old short track racing, and to put the All-Star there is going to be pretty awesome.
The history behind North Wilkesboro, it's such a prestigious track, and the fans love to go out there and be a part of it. It brings back memories probably from them going with their moms and dads to the racetrack, and then now getting to go do it themselves and see an actual Cup race at North Wilkesboro is pretty cool.
The All-Star race is not like a typical race you see on Sundays. Jalen and Logan, what makes this one different for drivers?
Yeah, The NASCAR, sorry, I'm going to interrupt you for a second, Jilly. The NASCAR All-Star Race is one that drivers and fans look forward to all year long because it is so unique, Dalen.
Yeah, Logan, and this race, as you guys know at home, on Sundays when the drivers hit the track, not only are they usually competing for the win, but they're looking to rack up as many Cup Series points as possible. However, this Sunday, it's going to be a little bit different. There's only one grand prize, and that's the cool $1 million that's going to the winner. Now, this year's All-Star Race will be a 200-lap full of action with cautions at 100 and 150. Pit crews will play a big part as they must perform a 4-tire pit stop with any tire of the team and crew chiefs choosing. All laps will count, and NASCAR overtime rules will be in effect for the race on May 19th.
And the ZMAX Cars Tour will take center stage tonight before the Cup Series drivers get behind the wheel for the main event on Sunday. It kicks off Friday with Cup Series practice and All-Star Race qualifying. The Craftsman Truck Series race takes place Saturday afternoon at 1:30, followed by the 2 All-Star Heat races at 5:20. The All-Star Open gets started on Sunday at 5:30, and the week of racing wraps up with the main event Sunday night at 8 p.m. with the annual All-Star Race.
Some of the drivers are actually in Randleman tonight for Richard Petty's annual Blue Jeans and Boots fundraiser. Tanya sits down with the King of Racing to talk about the event and his time on the track. Next.